Hey everybody, how's it going? In today's video, let's have a quick look at one of the new cars in the current round 8 of Season 4. Of course, we're talking about Emira GT4, the track version. Right, so this car event is in the form of limited series, as you can see here. So once you start the event, you have 7 days to complete it, to win the car. And it does have a set PR requirement. In this case, 68.3. And to meet that PR requirement, it's going to cost you 351 gold. Basically, the usual 3 upgrades each category. So 21 upgrades total, right? So 351 gold and 1.4 million motorsport dollars and change. But in terms of, so, and then you get, as you can see here, you get 50 gold back and you get a 1.5 million motorsport dollars back just for rewards. And throughout the event or the series, limited series, there are some really high paying events as well. Like there's some, we'll talk about it once we get through the, get into the series to have a closer look at the types of races that we get to do. But some of the cup races are going to be pretty lengthy. So you will be earning a lot of motorsport dollars if you decide to go all the way through with this. The car is worth 2 million motorsport dollars. So it's a motorsport dollar car, meaning it's not that difficult to just buy it out right later on if you cannot afford 351 gold up front. But 351 is not too bad in today's economy, right? And of course, you earn victory points, 5,250, the typical number, and that's gotta guarantee you some extra gold as well, I'd expect. So anyway, those are the rewards. Now let's hop into the series itself and have a closer look. And yeah, that's the road version of Emira that we already have in the game. So Lotus Emira GT4 Limited Series, earn a Lotus Emira GT4 by 100% completing this special limited series. Unleash your inner racer with the lightweight, agile, and track-ready Lotus Emira GT4. Yeah, I already completed this event on my other account, my main playing account. Decent ride. I mean, it's a Lotus, so yes, they tend to be generally, their whole philosophy is lighter cars, right? So very agile, and it's a track-ready car, so you expect a certain amount of performance in terms of like pretty grippy, right? So yeah, decent ride. It's fun. I enjoyed it. So anyway, speaking of rewards, a little bit further, the first 25% completion pays you 750 victory points, 5 gold, and 100,000 motorsport dollars. That's like something that you normally get paid for 100% completing, but in this event, you just need first 25% completion and you get 100,000 motorsport dollars. And I will tell you right away, no, you cannot complete the 25% completion without spending any gold. You need to spend gold. Sorry. The tier 4 has a PR requirement of 58, and this car's PR without putting any gold upgrades only goes up to like 57 point like 8 or 9 or something like that. So you're just a little shy, which is pretty typical. You might think they have designed it that way. Anyway, that's first 25% completion. And the 50% completion gets you 1,000 victory points, 10 additional gold, and 200,000 motorsport dollars. So, yeah. And because the event actual races themselves are pretty lengthy, so it took me like, I want to say 3 days and like then I think I dragged it out across 4 different days to um, maximize my 250 motorsport dollar daily earning caps, meaning I just from racing the events, not bonus, right? I think I earned nearly $1 million motorsport dollars just from racing. That's a lot from one event. And on top of it, the earning itself is like 1.5 million on top of that. So at the end of this event, you will come out net positive in terms of your motorsport dollar bank. So just keep that in mind. Anyway, 75% completion. That's your tier 12, right? Additional 1,500 victory points, 15 gold, 500,000 motorsport dollars. Yeah, this is gonna pay out handsomely in motorsport dollars. Only if we had event that paid that handsomely in gold. One can dream. All right. And then, of course, 100% completion pays you the car itself, which, as I said, is worth 2 million motorsport dollars, 2,000 victory points, 20 gold, and 700,000 motorsport dollars. So, and on top of that, with the PR of, let's see, 68.3, which is what's required to complete this event, you will have access to, of course, once you win the car, you will have access to the Motorsport series this car is featured in, Performance GT Racing, that you can find under GT4 subcategory. You can complete 75% completion with basically the limited series PR. So that's guaranteeing you additional, like, I want to say like 46 additional gold. So from the upfront cost of 351 gold, you get 50 back. So it's down to 301 net cost. And then another 46 or so that you can earn back, meaning gold wise, it's more like 260 gold is the cost of this car's ownership if you decide to own this through motorsport, through limited series. And of course, in terms of motorsport dollars, you're going to come out quite far ahead compared to where you started. So there you go, because you earn much more than what it costs to upgrade and meet the PR requirement, right? All right, so let me use the gold to auto complete the series right away so we can have a closer look at the types of events that you will encounter if you choose to run through this event. All right. Pick up those victory points and 1.5 million. Yeah, I maxed out at 5 million. So if I didn't put any upgrades on this, I'll be up at 6.5 million motorsport dollar bank. Right. All right, so let's hop back into the limited series. There we go. And confirm some numbers. So last tier 15, the 7-lap cup at Dubai. That's Grand Prix circuit. Yeah, so 7 laps. That's gonna pay, let's see, let me double check real quick. It pays 75,100 motorsport dollars just from this one race alone. And yes, you do need PR 68.3, which, as I said, requires 3 upgrades across the board. So let's go ahead. You know what? Here, let me show you the motorsport stage 1 upgrades only, meaning goldless upgrades, right? At the cost of some 452,740 motorsport dollars. Yes, I ran the numbers earlier, and that's what it comes out to be, if my math is correct. All right, so it brings your PR up to 57.8. And remember what I mentioned about tier 4, which is what you need to get past? It's got PR 58. So unfortunately, you cannot earn any gold in this event unless you spend gold. And what you earn in gold is not quite as much as what you will have to spend. So with that out of the way, let's meet the PR requirement. 3 upgrades on all categories. There we go. Exhaust, brakes, and finally tires and wheels. And brings your PR exactly up to 68.3. All right, so that is 351 gold and 1.4 million and change motorsport dollars, right? So as you can see, I earned 1.5 million, so I was at 6.5 million. After upgrades, I'm still above 5 million daily or career cap, if you want to call that. So yeah. All right. Now, let's have a look at some events that we will be encountering through the series. So stage 1 or tier 1, we got elimination, which always pays out the same amount in terms of motorsport dollars, 11,800. And the speed snap, of course, a pretty quick event, so that's gonna pay like just I think this is a 3,000 motorsport dollars, so not much. But the stage or tier 1 cup, this one at Hockenheim Grand Prix, it's a 3-lapper to start off, so that's gonna pay just under 30,000. Hockenheim is not quite 10,000 a lap circuit, so it's more like 9,000. So it pays out 27,650 motorsport dollars in tier 1 though. That's pretty good. And tier 2, we got endurance at Nürburgring Grand Prix, so that depends on how aggressively you decide to bot train. So if you bot train more aggressively, obviously your distance will be shorter, so you don't have to run as long. Anyway, and then speed record at Suzuka Grand Prix. So it's a full lap at Suzuka, so it's just over 10,000. In fact, I think it's a 10,000 or 11,000 actually. Suzuka is a little bit longer, so 11,150 motorsport dollars, I believe, is the reward for a lap around Suzuka Grand Prix. So that applies for speed record, hunter, head-to-head, anything that's a single lap, right, at Suzuka Grand Prix. Anyway, then we got the Cup at Melbourne, and this is going to be 3-lap, PR 55.5 required. So this one does not pay as much as a tier 1. This one, of course, Melbourne, shorter circuit. So 17,600 motorsport dollars is what that pays. Then we go to tier 3. We have head-to-head at the South Circuit of Lime Rock Park. And Lime Rock Park, pretty short, right? So single lap just pays 4,650 motorsport dollars. And the South Circuit's the one with that tight chicane, right? And then we got Speed Snap at Spa. It's a speed snap, so I think they pay 3,000 motorsport dollars once again. And then Cup at the long on-road circuit of Leipzig's Porsche Test Track. 3 laps once again, PR 69 or 69, 59 or 56.9. I cannot read. Anyway, dyslexia. 56.9, and this one pays out 25,300 motorsport dollars. So not quite as long as, not quite like a Grand Prix circuit, right? But it is the longest one in Leipzig, but just not long enough for, let's say, normal Grand Prix circuits. Anyway, on to tier 4, your 25% completion tier. We got Autocross at Silverstone Grand Prix, which is pretty short event. Pays 4,750 motorsport dollars. And we got Endurance at Dubai Grand Prix. So once again, it kind of depends on how far you have to go, right? And then Cup is gonna be at Catalunya National, as we looked at earlier. It's got PR 58 requirement, and 3 laps at the national circuit of Catalunya. It's gonna pay out some 18,900 motorsport dollars. All right, and tier 5, we got head to head at Mount Panorama. So that one's a pretty decent length circuit, pays out 11,150 motorsport dollars. And then we got elimination, so it doesn't really matter where you run it, it's always going to be 11,800 motorsport dollars that pays out. And then we got a cup at the new Sebring International Raceway Grand Prix circuit. That's a pretty lengthy circuit. I think it's one of the longer Grand Prix circuits. And we got 4 laps, PR 59.1 required, and this one pays out 46,600 motorsport dollars. So yeah, if you like just run normal, you're gonna be pretty close to like hitting that 250,000 motorsport dollar cap. I think around tier 5, tier 6. That's a lot. Normally we like can make it to like tier 8, like kind of halfway through, and then like we max out. But in this case, no, we're earning quite a bit. Anyway, then we got tier 6 autocross at Hockenheim Grand Prix. So autocross, this one 4,750 motorsport dollars. And then we got drag race, this one at Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix circuit, and the payout 3,800 motorsports. So these are pretty short events, so you don't have to think too much about how much you're earning. However, we do have a cup at Suzuka Grand Prix, and it's going to be 4 laps, PR 60 required, and as I said, Suzuka pays out like 11,000. So when you got 4 laps, this one pays out 44,550 motorsport dollars for your win. All right. And tier 7, we got head to head at Laguna Seca. Laguna Seca, relatively short circuit, pays out 7,850 motorsport dollars. And the speed snap, this one at Porsche Test Track, long on-road circuit, it's a speed snap, 3,000 motorsport dollars, right? And then we got Cup, speaking of long circuits, this one at Spa, and another 4 laps, PR 61 required, and Spa, I think it's like 13,000 per lap, so this one pays out 52,250 motorsport dollars. So yeah, even on your like day 2, you're already like either pretty close to or over 100,000 motorsport dollars you would have earned at this point. As you get to tier 8, your 50% completion tier. And we got autocross, this one at the Sebring International Raceway Grand Prix circuit. This one pays out 4,750. So I think that's a kind of an autocross payout. 3,000 is speed snap payout, right? And the elimination, 11,800 motorsport dollar payout, right? So those are kind of set. And then let's see the Cup at Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. That's one of the longer Grand Prix circuits. 3 laps. So this one pays out 32,400 motorsport dollars. PR 61.8 required. And tier 9, we got speed record at Circuit of the Americas National Circuit. So it's not as long as Grand Prix circuit. Pays 7,250 motorsport dollars. And we got endurance at Catalunya Grand Prix. So it's endurance. So your payout may vary depending on your mileage, right? And the Cup at Red Bull Ring Grand Prix circuit. So that micro Grand Prix circuit. We got 4 laps. PR 62.7 required, and this one will pay out 33,800 motorsport dollars. So, because it's a pretty short circuit, right? Anyway, moving on, tier 10. We are head to head at Hockenheim Grand Prix. So, single lap around Hockenheim Grand Prix pays out 9,200 motorsport dollars. And we got another elimination. This one at Dubai National pays out 11,800. And then the cup at Monza Road Course. Monza is like about as close to like 10,000 per lap, right? So this one is 3 laps, PR 63.6 required. And so the total payout for win is going to be 30,200 motorsport dollars. So, 10,000 per lap, 10,000 and change, right? All right, moving on. Tier 11, we got autocross at Spa. So it's an autocross. So pays out, 4,750, right? And speed record at Lime Rock Park road course. So that's the longest layout of Lime Rock Park, but it's a once again, pretty short circuit. So doesn't pay out a whole lot. It's like 4,650 motorsport dollars. And then we got a cup at Mount Panorama. And this one's a 5-lap cup. PR 64.5 required. And this one is going to pay out also pretty handsomely. 55,700. I mean, Mount Panorama. It's like 11. Once again, back to that 11,000 motorsport dollars per lap range, right? Like Suzuka and Nürburgring, right? Kind of comparable. And I would say, and Silverstone. All right, and tier 12, your 75% completion tier. We got head-to-head at Catalunya Grand Prix, and just a little bit under 10,000 per lap, 10,000 motorsport dollar payout. It's 9,800. And Speed Snap at Nürburgring Grand Prix pays out 3,000 motorsport dollars, even though I think that might be, Grand Prix. Is that on the back end? Okay, so that's relatively short. Anyway, and then we got Cup at Laguna Seca. 5 laps, PR 65.4 required, and Laguna Seca, once again, not a terribly long circuit. Pays out 39,200 motorsport dollars for the 5 laps that you gotta run. And tier 13, we got drag race at Monza. It's a drag race, pays out 3,800 motorsport dollars. Followed by endurance at Mount Panorama. You know what I said about endurance. Your mileage may vary. And then Cup as Silverstone Grand Prix. 6 laps, PR 66.3 required. And yes, it's going to pay out about, once again, 11,000 and change per lap. So for those 6 laps, it pays 65,750. Right? So maybe just a little bit under 11,000 per lap, but close. All right, and that takes us to the penultimate tier, tier 14. We got speed record as Sebring Johnson Club circuit. So that's sort of the further back half of the Grand Prix layout, right? So this one pays out 5,350 motorsport dollars for a single lap. And then we got a elimination, another one. This one at Lime Rock Park South Circuit. So that pays out once again 11,800 motorsport dollars. And then we got Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix Circuit Cup. This one's a whopping 7-lapper. PR 67.2 required. And this one's going to pay out 75,550 motorsport dollars just on its own. So that's what I mean. Towards the later part of this event, just about every tier, you're going to earn like 70,000 motorsport dollars or so. So yeah, you will max out your 250,000 daily cap pretty quickly. Anyway, that takes us to the final tier, tier 15. We got endurance at Laguna Seca. And Autocross is Suzuka East. Once again, the payout for Autocross, 4,750 motorsport dollars. And then the final cup, we had a look at it earlier at Dubai Grand Prix. 7 laps, PR 68.3 required. And Dubai Grand Prix pays a little less than 10,000 per lap. So this one, or does it? No, it does pay out about, I think it's a little less. Yeah. So for 7 laps, no, my bad. It does pay out a little bit over 10,000 per lap. I get confused. This one pays 75,100 motorsport dollars total. So there you go. All right, so those are all the numbers. Boy, that's a lot of numbers. Was it necessary? I'm not sure. But there you have it. If you stuck around till the end, thanks for sticking around. And in the next video, let's take this car out for a spin and do some racing. So stay tuned, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.